What's going on, y'all? It's Wednesday. I hope everybody out there is doing well. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody who clicked on this video. Thank you for the support. So let's go ahead and get down, and I want to discuss Nolan Wells yet again because there's some more information that has come out. Despite the lead investigators of this case, or in this case rather, saying be patient, don't rush to conclusions, they believe that Nolan Wells passed away due to the fact that he got caught in a rip current, similar to Malcolm Jamal Warner and his passing, right? And the fact of the matter is, in my opinion, is the fact that given that one of the boys that was supposed to be Nolan Wells' friend, right, by the name of Warren Hudson, his mother Ashley Cole is a judge, and they're working overtime behind the scenes trying to cover this thing up and sweep a lot of shit under the rug. Let's just keep it all the way 100. Now, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video, I want to take the time to read you what the National Federation of Filipino American Associations had to say in regards to Nolan's passing, because Nolan is part of the Filipino descent and his mother as well. So this is what they said about his passing. The National Federation of Filipino American Associations extends our deepest condolences and prayers to the family and loved ones of Nolan Xavier Wells during this time of profound grief. As a young man of Filipino descent, Nolan's passing is felt throughout our shared communities. His mother, Christine, a half-Filipino nurse practitioner, has shared her family's deep connections to her Filipino heritage, including returning to the Philippines every few years. Nolan also proudly displayed the Philippine flag on his Instagram bio, a reflection of the heritage that was an important part of his life. Now, I think it's important to note that Nolan Wells' GoFundMe has reached up to $682,000, and I believe that the ultimate goal is $750K. So people are putting their money where their mouth is, trying to help this family be able to obtain the services of a Ben Crump. And to be honest, guys, I have some questions about Ben Crump after some things that I've witnessed. I'm still working on putting it together, so I'm not going to talk about it here, but something is off with Ben Crump. And I know the other day I was over here singing and praising him for making a power move to send Nolan's body 800 miles away to have an independent autopsy, but there's something fishy about this guy. Do not trust Ben Crump whatsoever. Now let's talk about the demonic nature of Harvey Levin and TMZ and how they're trying to spin this narrative, because not only did they take advantage of a young man who was supposedly Nolan's friend in Javon, having him come on TMZ to talk about, hey, I don't think it had anything to do with race. Now they reached out to Nolan's football coach by the name of Tracy, and he's singing the same sentiment. I want you guys to check out this trash.
So Tracy, what his parents think happened here? Do they believe this was just an unfortunate accident, tragedy, or that it's something more sinister?
I was in Ocean Springs when it happened, and I was still in disbelief when I got the news that Nolan was missing. So when I got all the details surrounding the case, that they told me he was out at Horn Island, and he came up missing or whatnot. I talked with his dad, and we just had conversation. That was kind of after the fact when they had found his body, because I was just giving the family their respect that they deserve, and when everything first took place. But I was sharing all the detail that the family was sharing, just putting the word out there, and just so everybody could be on notice and everybody be paying attention.
Well, when you say you talked to the dad, did he kind of accept this as an accident and an tragedy, or was he more suspicious?
Well, no, he was more so just searching for answers right now, because it had just happened and there was a lot of questions still unanswered.
Usually high school football stars have a pretty close relationship with their coaches. What can you tell us about just Nolan as a human being?
Nolan was a great young man, with a big personality. Everybody gravitated to Nolan because of his smile. He just wanted everybody to be happy, and he was a joy to coach, a joy to be around. To sum Nolan up, long story short, Nolan is a guy that I would let date my daughter.
I mean, there were rumblings that he may have gotten into an argument, that there might have been a confrontation or something like that. I mean, was he a guy who would stand up, where, his hackles would go up, or was he more of a get-along type guy?
He's more of a get-along type guy. Don't get me wrong. Now, if something happened, he'll defend himself, but I knew right then in that video that wasn't Nolan.
One of the theories is that that he was drinking and that there was a riptide that day and that maybe he got caught in a bad current out there. knowing him as an athlete, and we've heard that he did know how to swim, would that surprise you if he ended up in that situation?
I mean, it would surprise me, that happened, but like I said, man, I'm just waiting till the family, give out, details of what they done gathered.
Was there racial tension at this school?
No, I don't think it was no racial intention at the school, from my experience, because you have, predominant white school, you have black kids there, and they all, played and grew up together and got along. Now, some stuff might have happened that I didn't see, so, I can't speak wholeheartedly on it, but from what I did see, it was a tight-knit community, you know what I mean?
All right, so how much did they pay dude to come on to TMZ to say, hey, it wasn't a race issue? Let's be honest. Let's ask the question. I mean, y'all asked me when I said I didn't believe that Diddy did everything that they said that he did, right? So y'all were asking me who paid me. So who paid him to come on to TMZ to basically throw a wrench in the game? And this is the second individual, right, that has been on TMZ that they interviewed, and they said that race did not play an important factor. How much did they pay him? And let's say they didn't pay him, and he just came on there and that's what he said. I guarantee you, he said it just because he wanted to help out the narrative that went against Nolan, because he's a football coach there and he has to live in that community. He's definitely one of those brothers, I think, that would be walking around with a pro bass shop hat on. And so it's safe to say at this point that TMZ is definitely working for the defense. The defense has TMZ in their back pocket, right? They're all in cahoots with one another. They're trying to railroad this case, and they're purposely stalling this investigation because they know that there are a few people that already should be in jail, and they don't want to put those individuals in jail. And they're trying to work some kinks out to get their story straight, to present it to the public so it makes some sort of sense in their minds. But we know that when it's presented to us, it's not going to make much sense when it comes out that nobody has been arrested and they found no foul play. But anyway, let's keep our eyes and ears open to this case because I'm not letting it out of my sight. So anyway, let's move along, and I want to talk about Mario Rodriguez, who has a lawsuit against Tyler Perry for SA. And here recently, Mario Rodriguez is upset that Tyler didn't show up for a deposition because Tyler was going to be asked by him what was his S orientation, right? And Tyler feels that his S orientation has nothing to do with the lawsuit. Now, Mario is going as far as to ask Tyler to be sanctioned because he didn't show up for the deposition, but Tyler remains adamant that he will not show up because he says that his theory, Mario's theory rather, would mean a man who is attracted to men is more likely to have SA'd another man, which Tyler calls a bigoted stereotype. Now, Tyler goes on to say that behind the scenes that he turned down a multi-million-dollar settlement proposal by Mario. And once he turned it down, that's when Mario filed this motion about a deposition to harm his reputation. Now, Tyler says that he's not embarrassed about his S orientation. It's just the fact that he's not going to sit down and be asked about it because he feels that this is a bullying tactic on the part of Mario and his camp. Now, in addition to opposing the motion, Tyler is also asking the court to sanction Mario to the tune of $7,300 for abusing the discovery process. Now, listen, I don't have a dog in this fight, but if I'm being honest, I feel like Tyler has more reasons than he stated as it pertains to why he doesn't want to be asked that question about his S orientation. He said that it was a bullying tactic, that it was a bigoted position. Now, I can't say what those reasons are because I'm not in Tyler's head. But at the end of the day, it does look a little bit suspect that you won't even sit in for a deposition because you're afraid of the question of what your S orientation is. I mean, all you got to do is get up there and say, not Mario, when they ask you the question. You know, say something smart or whatever. But at the end of the day, we'll see how this case plays out and we'll keep our eyes and ears open. Now, I want to move on to the last subject of today's video. Now, this video that I'm about to play you is a mother that has 2 kids, and her son chose to actually stay in better living conditions. I want you guys to check out this video, and then I'll be back.
This is him walking off, choosing them over us because he don't want to live in a hotel. Sellout. While my daughter is here sticking by my side with all my stuff out here. and we have an Uber coming to take us to a hotel. He chose them. I understand he doesn't want to go through the struggle, but for him to not come out here and check on his mother and his sister, whatever. Keep that same energy. Look at them. They don't care about us. Transmission went out on this car. I have an 8-year-old type 1 diabetic. It's okay. Our Uber is on the way. You see how they don't care? Because she tells him what to do. She tells Steve what to do. He can't even care about me or his granddaughter. He ain't our real dad anyway. So I don't care.
It's sad that you're sitting up here trying to shame him for choosing his well-being over just struggling. Him choosing his well-being is not choosing them over you. You're in a rough spot right now. It's understandable. But you're trying to shame him because he doesn't want to live the struggle. I think it's very selfish of you, very selfish, putting this trauma on your kids for your own selfish reason. This is really hard for me because my own boys are choosing the struggle with their mom versus to actually being, for the betterment of their life. When I see something like this, it really gets to me, and then you move into an hotel, a 1-bedroom hotel, and you want 3 people to be in a hotel with a kitchenette. How is y'all going to work that out? So now you and your daughter are sharing the bed. It's a little more comfortable, but where did you expect him to sleep? That's not fair. And then you trying to throw that guilt trip. That's not cool. That's not cool. Don't blame that boy because he didn't want to go through the struggle and he has options. You should send your daughter with him and get your shit together and then come back and get your kids. If you got options and you got a village and you got help, don't make your kids struggle. You know what I'm saying? Don't make them struggle when they ain't got to. That don't build a bond, whatever, because y'all got to be in the trenches together. It doesn't. It actually would show them how much you care for them because you want it better for them, whatever, so they don't have to go through the bullshit you go through. Get your
All right, so you just saw the video of that young boy going to stay with his father. The house is huge. I'm pretty sure that the amenities are through the roof. And the mother was shaming him in front of his sister, which was wrong. I know that she has feelings as a mother, but I do think it was reckless for her to state those feelings in front of her daughter because it can create a wedge between her daughter and her brother for years to come. You see what I'm saying? But I'm conflicted on how I feel about this because I see both sides. I can see how the mother feels some type of way. Me personally, I would have chose my mother, but that doesn't mean that this young man should be vilified for choosing his father whatsoever, right? Because at the end of the day, and this young man doesn't see this now, and when you grow up and you become an adult, you see everything that your mother sacrificed just to bring you here to earth. Carrying a baby, being pregnant is not a really, really good experience for most Black women. In some cases, or in most cases, it's a death sentence. So the fact that your mother put her life on the line just to give birth to you is enough in itself for you to stick by your mom. But hey, he shouldn't be vilified, like I said. And another thing that I see in this dynamic is that if you are in a tough spot, I do agree with what the guy said, that if you are in a tough spot, then have the daughter go and stay with the father as well. Put them in a better position. So I see both sides, and that's why I'm a little bit conflicted. I know ultimately in my situation, I would have chose my mother, but it doesn't make this young man wrong for choosing his father. Now, let me say this in closing. I hope that this young man's mother does not hold this against him in life, because at the end of the day, she could keep that same energy once she gets back on top. Say if she gets back on top, you never know what God has for you. Say if she comes into millions upon millions of dollars and ends up leaving the daughter everything if she passes away. She kept that same energy that you kept when you was a child, when you chose and elected to live with your father because she was struggling at the time. I'm not saying it's right, y'all. I'm not saying it's right, because you shouldn't hold that against the child. But some people do. Some people do. But anyway, I'm gonna let this go right here. I want you guys to go ahead and drop down in the comments and leave your thoughts, and continue to have a fantastic day.